and welcome. I'm Oles Garjuk and you're watching Head to Head with UATV. Today we're talking about Ukrainian cinematography, in particular the short movie called Technical Break. It has already received many awards, and this Friday it will open One Take Film Festival occurring in Zagreb, Croatia. To tell us more about the movie, we welcome to the studio today Nina Tararuieva, leading actress in Technical Break film. Hello and thank you for being with us today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It is a pleasure to have you here. So tell us first, what is this movie about?
This is kind of a complicated story, but it's very simple. It's about one technical break in life of one supermarket worker, and we follow the events that happen to her, and it's not the easiest movie because it's actually about miscarriage that occurred to the main character during this short time.
But this is not a documentary, as far as I understand, because you were playing the
Of
leading
course.
actress.
I'm
yeah,
an
but
actress.
you're saying that this,
That
the team was kind of following the actress. So it is made in kind of fake documentary style?
Well, you can call it mockumentary because it imitates the style when the camera moves after the main character, and it feels kind of like reality show, and was this decision of the director, Filip Sotnichenko.
Well, this is exciting. I think that we would love our audience to have some glimpse at the trailer of your movie, so let's watch.
Let's try.
So tell us more about this technical break. Why exactly technical break? Why exactly the supermarket? Why exactly the character? Why exactly about some thieves?
Well, if the question is general, like not to me as an actress, but to the, well, it
to the
should
plot
be,
and to the
yeah,
idea behind this movie.
It should be addressed to the director, but like from what I've heard from him when we were working on the character, this is a story about simple, small figure and about small tragedies that happen every day in our life, and they are never noticed because they don't tell about them on TV, and maybe they would write an article about something like that happening somewhere in some suburban little town in the middle of nowhere, Ukrainian middle of nowhere, or anywhere else, because this actually kind of universal story that could occur anywhere. Like somebody is beneath like lost all the hope in life and just trying to figure out how to keep on living and takes wrong decisions. Well, that's what the story is about.
So what you mean is like the tragedies of regular people are minor tragedies and they are unseen? That's what you mean?
Well, usually that's how it happens. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And sometimes when some local newspaper learns about this scandalous story, they can, write a big article about that, but that is the only time, like the first and last, when somebody will notice that. And that is something that I think this film strongly addresses, this feeling of despair, being alone and being not able to share your problems within your society, because we don't do that.
How did you feel your character?
From what I hear from other people, I don't quite resemble this person in real life, which is kind of compliment for me, because well, I understand that this is not the kind of person I would like to meet and I could find a common ground with, because probably she doesn't have some perspectives or some outlook at the world that I would share. Probably she is, maybe she doesn't have like higher education, maybe she is very has basic ideas about what she's doing in her life or with her life. I'm not saying that that makes her a bad person, but what makes her unlikable is her frustration. Well,
her disappointment in life?
Well, I would say just frustration.
Frustration. Did you have some empathy towards this character while shooting the story?
Well, when I agreed to feature in this film, I didn't really comprehend that this is a story about actually death of one person who wasn't burned, but it's actual death. And when we already started to shoot, I figured it out during the rehearsals, and that was a game changer for me because I started to perceive the whole story differently and my character differently as well, because this is a tragedy that concerns her the most.
So tell us, how did the shooting go? What was the most interesting for you and for your team?
Well, I have to say that the team that worked on the film is, they are, I think, maybe the best, the most interesting people in Ukraine in this profession in cinematography, because they are from filmmakers NGO called Contemporary Ukrainian Cinema, and it wasn't their first project that they were making together. Therefore, you could feel that they are like real team. They know each other. They know each other weak sides and like positive sides. Some filmmakers say that it's not good for the profession to work with the same people all the time, but in their case, I felt that I'm in good hands because
they have some connection.
Yeah, they have some connection, and like I felt that they know what they're doing. They see the result that has to be done, and I think that was the best part of the whole process, learning how real people, real artists actually work on their future product. And I'm not a professional actress, and that was my first film project. Therefore, it was like...
Where you have been acting.
Sorry?
The first one where you have been acting, yes?
Yeah, of course. That was first film, actually. So.
Okay, so then congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, but tell us, were there any adventures while shooting? Because as far as I know, if you were shooting in the supermarket in Ukraine, it is really complicated to get a permission from any supermarket to shoot over there. I know maybe this wasn't your job, obviously, but probably you could feel and face some challenges or some interesting stories while shooting.
It was producer's department job, yes, first of all. Course. Second of all, we couldn't start to shoot without the permission, because we have scenes in the storage of the supermarket in the main room.
Obviously, everything was prepared, yes.
Yeah, everything was prepared, but this is a kind of a new wave, I would say, style of cinematography, which is documentary surrounding. So we are acting, we are playing certain
characters,
but, yeah, in documentary surrounding, so like the crowds behind my back are real. Like the markets, everything, like people on the streets, they are actual people on the streets. And what is the hardest, I think, people like in journalistics, they know how it's hard to make people not to look in the camera.
Yes.
And when we were shooting like the biggest part of the film on the street, people were always like, "What are you shooting, huh?"
What is that? So they were interfering, basically, the process.
And we had like tons of spoiled takes because of that, but still we have some of them in the final cut. And there is an interesting thing that maybe not every viewer would notice, but one of the scene on the market where the main character tries to sell the stolen stockings to a lady, there is a like old man who's saying like, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here, people?" And he was actually like, it sounds like he is, saying, "What is this whole small thing that you're selling? why you were doing this, but actually he was asking us what we were doing there.
But you could use this in the movie.
Yeah, we actually used that,
it looks so natural that you could use it.
Looked more natural than actor would act. So.
Well, this is exciting. This makes the process exciting. Although, yes, you have to try and try and try again until people will start interrupting the process.
Yeah, actually, on the third day of filming, they were like, some of them were asking each other what is going on there, and they were like, oh, they are shooting a movie, so don't look in the camera. Do whatever you want, but don't look in the camera.
So they were already teaching each other.
Yeah, so they were actually kind of helping us in this whole story.
I mentioned that the movie is recognized internationally. Could you could you tell us about the awards it has already received?
Well, the main award that film has, our proudest thing about this film is Dark Night Film Festival, if I'm not mistaken, that takes place in Estonia, in Tallinn, and this is category A film festival, so it's one of the major in Europe. Of course, it's short film festival, but it's still very nice, and the perception of the film there was really well, we were excited by the reaction, and the formulation with which they gave us the main prize was like brilliant. It was brief, and there was everything about the film in this short description. Also, we have an award from Wizard Film Festival, which is a short film festival in Lviv.
Yes.
And this is actually my favorite film festival, as well as the director and producer's favorite film festival, and also one very weird but interesting film festival in Hungary called Media Wave. We received their special mention and something else I don't quite recall. So we have quite a festival history by now. We were premiered in Odessa International Film Festival last year, and also had screening and were part of the competition in Kyiv International Film Festival Molodist, which is
good for you. And as far as I understand, in Zagreb, in this International Film Festival, you're gonna compete also in some nomination, right? In some category.
Well, yeah, film was selected for the main competition, but the interesting part is that this will be the opening film of the festival, and that is kind of scary. Yeah,
this puts a lot of pressure on you, but probably they know what to expect. I mean, if they put it at the beginning of the program.
I hope so.
Yes.
Well, it's not the brightest film to begin the festival with.
Well, you don't know. Maybe for their mentality it is the brightest, but the most interesting, I mean. But we here at UATV are wishing you best of luck at this film festival. Thank you so much for being a guest in our studio today, and thank you for this conversation.
Thank you.
That was Nina Tararuieva, leading actress in Technical Break movie. Thank you for watching Head to Head, and stay tuned for more with UATV.